Hello, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me all good?
I can hear you as well. Nice to see you,
Probably in the
Khushi.
office for one. Nice to see you too. You see the little banner at the back?
Yes, I do. It's very cute.
Mhm.
For every
Here's Lev.
say hi to our CEO as well.
He's our CEO. Everyone on the call. No, actually, yeah. Yeah.
Love is the janitor. He's cleaning up behind Khushi.
This is like
um,
little side hustle.
Hi everyone. You guys are joining. If anyone that's new, my name is Kat. This is Khushi. We kind of have this kind of quick chat at the beginning of these calls because we just wait for everyone to kind of join. So we give a couple of minutes at the beginning for anyone that may be late. That may still want to join to kind of to gather through. So we'll give it another minute or two or so for everyone to join, and then we'll get going. The call will be recorded. At the end of the call, you guys will get a recording of the call, along with a survey as well. That'll be quite helpful, I think, because it does ask some questions regarding the features we're going to be talking about today. So if you have any additional feedback that you want to provide to our CTO who's going to be reviewing this survey, it'll be great to do that through the survey. So um, yeah, that's basically
It's
uh, that's
the
basically
second
it.
edition already.
Yes,
So,
yeah,
second time.
yeah. We're doing
Second
a
time's the
second
charm.
second call, same, but it's not going to be the same call, realistically speaking.
Yeah, no, it's never the same, but
We have no
second
script,
time.
people. We're doing this. We're doing this from our own knowledge. Mm,
Got your tea
alright.
there, Kat?
I did. You know I
Good.
can't. You
Full,
can't. I
cup
can't
full.
function without a team. I can't function without tea, especially like mid call. I always slightly lose my voice mid call. And these calls
Tea
go.
helps.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They go a little bit longer. So it definitely
What
does
kind
help.
of tea? Just out of curiosity.
This is a detox tea. It's usually a
Oh,
black tea. It's usually a black tea. You know that I love black tea, so it's usually a black tea. But this time is I don't know. We're not detoxing. Just to clarify, it was the closest thing in the kitchen of the office. That's all. There's nothing in the background of it. All right. I think we're good to go. Um, Again, if anyone joins, of course, it's recorded, so no one's gonna miss anything. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is a second call that we're doing, very similar to what we did at the end of August. My God, I don't. Sorry
weeks
guys.
ago.
I just came back from a vacation, so I'm losing a sense of time. But end of August.
Distorted. It's okay. I'm here to help you out. No, the last session we did was just a little over 2 weeks ago,
Yes.
and we expected a lot of demand for these topics that we're going to be covering today. So this is the second session we're having to kind of accommodate that and make sure everyone's questions are answered.
Exactly, exactly. And it's really good because we're going to be talking about the features that we released and of course the
Yep.
upcoming features as well. I mean, that's the whole point of this call so that you guys can ask your questions, give the feedback, and then there will be another chance, like I said at the beginning of the call, to give more feedback even after the call, that information that our CTO is actually going to be reviewing in detail. So it's going to be really great if you want to provide some details in that survey as well. And actually, that being said, I did this even in the last call. I think it's just a good idea. I am going to send that survey right into the chat here. You don't have to complete it, of course, right now, but just so we have it in the Q&A section, and
So
then after the call, you can.
speaking of the Q&A section, there's also a poll section right next to it where we're going to be activating a few polls throughout our session today. I'm going to go ahead and activate the first one. So if everyone could just take some time to go fill it out, takes just a couple of clicks. So just keep an eye out, and I'll let you know when I'm activating the polls, and just make sure to fill it out.
And for anyone that's new to these webinars, I know that there's some familiar names here. There may be some new people as well. The way that this works is we have the Q&A section, we have the poll section. The Q&A section is where you can put in your comments or questions. The polls is basically our questions for you, where you can provide us with a little bit of information. This survey is separate. This survey is basically kind of an after call survey where you can add more information to it. So I do want to kind of just give a really quick overview of these office hours. We do these office. We're we're trying to do these office hours once a month at least, where we're going to go over different topics. This time around, we're talking about released features and upcoming features to get your feedback. We have some other great topics. If you'd like to see some of the old office hours, you can definitely do that. We have them all on our office hours page, which you can find in the footer of our website. So you can definitely check it out as well. And any upcoming office hours, of course, we'll send you guys an invite to everyone that we have, and you can join. We love to have you guys on these calls. It means a lot, especially the feedback and the communication. So today we're actually going to be focusing on, like I already said, new release features, some improvements as well that we released for accruals, for anyone using the complete plan and the accrual features, and then the upcoming features as well. Now, I'm going to start off with reminders out of the new released features, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to be actually using the Slack integration. As you guys know, we have multiple integrations. I'm going to be using the Slack integration because the features we're going through today, really, it doesn't matter really which integration you're using. The visual information that you're going to be seeing in a message form will be different for different integrations. Microsoft Teams will see it through their bot. Slack users will see it through their bot. Google and email users will see it via email. The information that's inside the messages, what's important, and the actual feature and how it works is what's important. So in this case, it really won't matter which integration I'm using, but just a little bit of a heads up for any Teams or email or Google users. We are using the Slack integration for this, but again, the dashboard looks basically the same. So I'm going to go ahead with the screen share. Khushi, please let me know if you see it. Everyone else, if you can throw out the emojis and let us know if you're
See
able to
it.
see the screen, that would
Yep,
be
I see
great.
it.
Wonderful. Thank you. I hope that everyone else is able to see
I
it.
see a
Great.
couple of thumbs up. Yep,
Lots of
we're
thumbs
good
up.
to go.
Good. All right, sounds good. So we're going to start off with a dashboard. We're starting off with the reminders. So this is something that was quite a high requested feature over time. There's been a lot of companies that basically wanted reminders for their approvers, for any unapproved leave, for the approvers to be reminded to actually respond back to these leaves so they don't get forgotten, and the users don't have to cancel them and reapply, or they don't go into expiry mode. So this has been kind of an important piece as well. These reminders have a specific flow and schedule that they go through, and I'm going to explain that as well. And there's a new set of expiration rules within Vacation Tracker that have now been introduced because of these new reminders. So that's also a piece. So a little bit of a kind of an explanation or an example of what this actually looks like is a reminder that I'm showing you here now in this Slack app channel, where we have a conversation. Again, the core of the message is the same all across the integrations. It just depends on where you're going to receive it, depending on which integration you use. But the basics are there. It's just a reminder letting you know that this user has already submitted a leave request, but you haven't, of course, responded. Therefore, you have a reminder 1 out of 3. Within the reminder flow, we're going to be sending out 3 reminders. Some of the basic rules of the flow are as follows. You would receive the first reminder the next business day after the request has been sent. If you have still not responded, you will receive another reminder, the second reminder, 3 business days after. And if you haven't responded to that one, you will receive a third reminder after 5 business days. Please keep in mind, after the 7th business day, if you still haven't responded after 3 reminders, after 7 business days from the moment the request has been sent, the request will expire. And again, these reminders will be arriving via the messages, the way that any request arrives as well, and you will have time to respond back to them. Now, one thing to, of course, note when it comes down to these reminders is you are able to snooze them, and you will not receive the rest of the reminders in this flow. So you will receive one, and then you can snooze them, and you won't receive reminder 2 and 3 if you choose to, or you can respond back to them, which of course is the ideal situation and the reason why we introduce these reminders. That being said, besides the flow, I do want to mention just some basic rules regarding reminders. Again, all of this information you can definitely find in more detail in our help desk. You guys know that we try our best to update our help desk articles as fast as possible as soon as we release something, and we try to provide as much information in multiple different articles. So there's definitely articles already on this with all of this information in much more detail in there as well. But I'm just going to mention a couple of things on this call. So we're only going to be sending reminders for open and active leave requests. So approvers are only going to receive a reminder if the request has not been responded to. I feel like this is something that uh, is 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 probably logical, but I do want to just note, especially because it's like auto approved leaves, it's important to keep that in mind because if it's auto approved, no reminders are going to be sent due to the auto approval process. Also, reminders are going to be sent according to the approver's working days. So we're going to watch, the approver's working days. And when we say business days, you're going to receive it from one day, from business day, 1 business day, or 3 business days, or 7 business days. We're referring to the approver's working schedule, right? And according to their business days. So if they're working a 4-day week, we're going to be looking at those days that they are working. And additionally, when it comes down to multiple approvers, you may have some questions about this. The flow still works the same. You all receive the requests at the same time. When it comes down to the reminders, you will also be receiving the reminders at the same time if no one responds back. The first approver, if there's multiple approvers, the leave is going to expire 2 business days after the first approver receives the final reminder. The first approver is the first approver who's working the first working day. If it's both approvers working the same schedule, they'll both receive the final reminder at the same time. So everything will be happening at the same time. But again, this is a case when there's multiple approvers and no one has responded for after 3 reminders, which we're noticing is not the case. So now with the reminders, we're noticing that people are significantly becoming more active and more efficient. And that's some of the rules with the reminders. I wanted to mention another one, but that more reflects the actual expiration rules, which I want to talk about as well, especially with this new flow. So when it comes down to the new expiration rules, we used to have basically, if you were requesting a leave for far in the future, let's say you were requesting a leave in January for July, your leave was going to expire 3 months after, from January. So that was a 3-month kind of expiration that we had for the leave, and we didn't have these rules with the reminders because they didn't exist at the time. That made sense. We've now changed those rules, and we have basically kind of two expiration rules. You have the 3 reminders that you receive the 7th business day. If all the 3 reminders go out and no one has responded after the 7th business day, the request is going to expire. That's the kind of the most basic rule. And then, of course, the other rule that still basically stays the same as it used to be if the end date of that request has passed. So if I requested a leave from September 10th to September 13th and no one has responded by the 14th, of course, it's going to expire because the end date has passed as well. So that rule has stayed the same. And again, more details on those expiration rules you can definitely find in the help desk. I do want to mention that when it comes down to the reminders, they definitely do go out for past leave. We're talking about a case where you have allowed your users to request for leaves in the past. If you have, and if they're requesting a leave in the past and it needs to be approved, it will still go through the same flow of the 3 reminders. And it's going to expire on the 10th business day. So it's a little bit longer because it is a pass leave. So it's a little bit of a there's a slight difference there, but those expiration rules again seem to be working. We've introduced them recently, and again with the reminders, it means quite a bit. People are responding to those requests much quicker now. The next piece, this is the reminder. The next piece is the out of office feature. This is something we also released at the same time as the reminders. And this is a feature that you as a user are able to kind of set and control. So admins would not be setting this for the users. It would be the users who are turning this on and choosing to have the out of office response. I do want to mention one thing that I chose decided to mention in the last call as well, because we're going to this kind of account settings page now. So on the dashboard inside of Vacation Tracker, on the right hand side, every user is able to see this, whether they're a user, approver, or an admin. Under my profile, they now have account settings as well. And under the account settings, we now have the new out of office feature, and we have the connection to the personal calendar. And this isn't really per se something we recently released. We released this a few months ago, a couple of months ago, but it's a good thing to mention because these two are completely independent features from each other. They are under account settings together, but they're not tied together per se. The personal calendar connection, just a really quick overview for someone who hasn't maybe seen it, maybe didn't see the newsletter, or maybe didn't see the notifications we sent out about it. So the personal calendar connection now allows the users to connect their personal calendar with Vacation Tracker, which means that I can connect my Google Calendar with Vacation Tracker or my Outlook calendar with Vacation Tracker. And once I do that, all my approved leaves, the moment they're approved, they'll be booked as um, as a leave in my personal calendar immediately. And the reason why this is good, of course, is because first of all the leave gets approved, gets booked into my calendar, and I don't have to actually add it myself. And if anyone's inviting me to meetings or anything like that, they're able to see that I'm actually away. So it becomes very, very handy. When it comes down to this setting as well, just like the out of office, the user is the one that's actually setting up this setting. It's not an admin, it's not an approver. You aren't able to do that because of the permissions that we require to connect to their personal calendar. So the user themselves actually has to go in and click on the connect with the Google Calendar, and for us to take them in to an account for them to be able to give the permissions and to connect the calendar. And then, of course, from that moment, um, all of their approved leave information, any future approved leaves will be automatically added into the calendar. So that's one piece that I'm just really quickly mentioning because we're already on the page. So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, this is definitely a new option. It is completely independent also from the calendar sync that we already offer. This is a visual only iCal sync that we've always offered. You guys are probably very well aware of this one, and it is different than the personal calendar, and they're completely separate. So back to the account settings, we now have the automatic out of office. And basically what the automatic out of office message is, it's basically allowing you to connect your vacation tracker account to any email provider that you're using, and then allows you to set an out of office reply for your approved leave information. So instead of you having to go into your email provider and put in an automated reply manually, whether you're using Gmail or Outlook, you can now actually use the feature through Vacation Tracker. You guys may have already noticed these messages go out. I'm going to again show you an example of a message that you may have seen so far. If anyone has requested a leave and it was about to start, you would have maybe received a message like this letting you know that your leave is scheduled to begin in less than a day, and that you can set an automatic out of office message to be sent during the time that you're away. And we send out this message even if the setting here is turned off, where we're sending out this message to see if you want to turn on the setting for these leave types, if you want to have these messages set up. So this is definitely something that you can do. If you choose, when the message arrives, if you choose don't ask me again, we will allow you to choose to either remove the leave types from the list that you don't want this reminder for. If you choose to not have it for any of the leave types, you can X out all the leave types. You can just turn off the feature. That's perfectly fine as well. When it comes down to actually setting up the message, we give you a template that we have. We currently have one template. This is the templated message that we have here. Hello, it's a basic message. Hello, thank you for your message. I'm currently out of the office and cannot respond until the end date of your leave. And just a quick message. If you want to just set this message right away, you would click on set out of office message, and the system would automatically set this message for you right away. And that would be the message that would be set in your email provider once you start to leave. And that's the message that anyone who emails you and reaches out to you via email will receive as an auto response back. If you want to edit the template, you definitely can by clicking on the edit template button, and we will take you into Vacation Tracker to edit the template and to reword it into something else that you would like it to say. So you can definitely maybe change it if you want to say that you will not be responsive or that you are going to be able to respond sometimes. You can definitely edit that text within Vacation Tracker. I do want to note one thing that's important when it comes down to setting this message. If you choose to set the message within Vacation Tracker, it is going to be set for the leave, and you will not be able to change anything until the leave actually starts. So if there are any changes that need to be made, if maybe unless your leave has been canceled, so unless you're canceling the leave within vacation tracker, if that happens, for example, then the out of office message won't be set, of course, because you've canceled your leave. If you've changed the dates to your leave, the same thing is going to happen. We're not going to send out the out of office. The system will actually resend you the message for the out of office, so that you are actually able to set a new one according to the new dates. So all of these changes will definitely happen. The system is watching. And again, for more details on this, we have a whole guide regarding the new feature and a few other articles tied to the out of office. So there's much more details in there. I don't want to go too much into debt with the feature, but this is basically just kind of an automation that we've introduced that seemed to be highly requested and seemed to be something that people really, really wanted in order to be able to automatically set this kind of response. There's a couple of things that I'd like to answer just specifically for this, that were some questions that were asked in the previous call. When it comes down to the Slack users, this message is specifically tied to the email that you're connecting to, the email provider you're connecting to. It's not tied to Slack itself. So if someone's messaging you, it's not going to be an auto response via Slack. What you do have for Slack users is our usual Slack status, which is quite popular, where you do have a Slack status that's able to be set with a specific emoji and the name of the status, right? That's going to show if you are away, so that the users can see when they're messaging you. So that still stands. When it comes down to Microsoft Teams users, I do want to note the out of office setting. Within Microsoft Teams, for any of you who may not know this, the out of office setting, I don't know if you've noticed, if you've ever set an auto reply, is actually tied to Microsoft Teams. So if you set it into Outlook, you do have an option, or if you have a leave, you do have an option basically to turn on the auto response even via Microsoft Teams. So that is something that will be connected in a sense, not because of us, but just because Outlook and Microsoft Teams are connected. So it's not per se our setting; it's more Office 365 settings. And then, of course, Gmail and Google Workspace and email users, you all understand it's going to be, of course, a response via email, just like all of your communication and responses are within Vacation Tracker. So I just want to double check if I've missed any type of just some additional comments that I'd like to
I think we're good for now.
I
Not
think
that I
so.
can think of at the moment. Yeah.
I think so. I think we're good there when it comes down to the out of office. Okay. So we're good for that. Moving on, the improvements that we released were related to the accruals. So anyone who's not in the complete plan, please bear with me. We'll try to we won't go into too much detail, but just a really quick note. So regarding the accruals themselves, you guys already know how the feature itself works with the accruals. One thing that I do want to mention is that we've now introduced a couple of, I apologize, it's the setting that I've chosen. We've now introduced a couple of new settings. So there's a couple of things, and these were settings that were really, really highly requested from the companies using the accruals. So the first piece is the booking in advance option. So basically, companies used to use the allow negative balance to allow this. We used to allow the allow negative balance so that users are able to book in advance the leave, and that meant basically that if I want to take my 5 days that I'm going to earn by July in July, I would have to have an allow negative balance so that the system could allow me to basically go into a negative. So this was a good workaround, but we understood that it was not the best situation because it would still allow the users to go over the amount that they've actually earned over, during that time, or even over the amount that they're given for that year. So it wasn't quite the best fit. So we created this allow requesting accrual based leave in advance checkbox, which if you click, basically you're allowing your users to request the accrued amount in advance, but you're allowing them to request it for the right time. So for example, if I'm accruing one day, just to make it easy, one day a month until the end of the year to have a full 12 days, and I know that I'm going to be taking a vacation in August of 7 days, and I know I'm going to have 7 days by August, in January I can already book this leave for August because this option is open. Some companies will not want to do this, hence why we offered it as a setting, so that if you don't allow this, you are able to turn it off and the users can wait until the time that they accrue and then request their leave. As for the other option that we've allowed now is allowing advanced accrual. So basic accrual says that you have to work the month or the 2 weeks in order for you to earn that amount for the following month. There were some companies that decided to do things a little bit differently, and instead of saying, okay, well, the month has to pass for them to earn it, they're actually allowing the users to earn it at the beginning of the month. So you don't have to wait for the 31 days to pass. You're going to earn it on the first of that month and then work for that time for the accruals. Again, it's slightly different than the basic rule of accruals and probably how the payroll and accounting systems will look at it. But there was a lot of companies that decided to do that more kind of liberal way of the accruals. So that's the second improvement and final improvement so far that we've done for accruals. Again, both highly requested options. And again, if you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to support. But I think that you're able to, as an admin, you're of course able to set all of this yourselves within each leave policy under the locations. Okay.
Yep.
And that's basically it for the improvements. And now we're moving on to something that probably everyone's excited about, and that's the upcoming features. So until we're going to have a few other improvements as well, smaller improvements here and there, some other changes we want to make in the system until the end of the year. And of course, next year we already have some plans, but those are smaller things that we're going to be focusing on. But we have 3 large features that we've actually been working on and we're currently working on that we hope to release by November of 2023, or at least December of 2023. That would be.
It's a good full circle moment because I
Yeah.
remember getting asked about these features in a couple of previous office hour sessions, and now
Yes.
we finally have them in the works. So
Mhm. And
it's
we were asked,
it's a quite
and we
nice
were at,
surprise.
yeah, and we were asked basically if we're going to talk about these. So you got everything.
Exactly. Exactly. We're
You're
catering
getting
to the
everything.
people.
Exactly. All right. So basically, and of course, I'm not able to show you these features because some of them are created, but they're in testing. Some of them are currently in the midst of being created. So I'm going to go through them one by one. And again, any questions, comments, please feel free to send out the messages. And the survey that I sent out will be focused on these 3 features as well, that you can talk about and give more details on. So the first feature, really highly requested, that we have no idea how we're going to name because there's so many different names all around the world that people use. Some people know it as toil, some people know it as comp time, some people know it as time off in lieu. Again, there's a couple of more names.
If
So we're
you
going
have
to,
any suggestions, you can drop them in the chat as well
yeah,
because we're really struggling with what to
yeah,
name that feature.
yeah. If you have more names for it that we can just add in the info
Just
bubble
add
and
to the
just
mix. Yes.
we'll just have an info bubble just for the name for this feature. So you all probably understand what it is. It's basically if you're working over, if the users are working overtime, maybe they're working a holiday or they're working some hours overtime. What's happening is the admins really want this amount to be added to their leave so that they can actually take that time off later on. And so what we currently have is a system that most systems use, and that's really where you are able to create a leave type called time off in lieu. And then there's a couple of different ways that the companies are using this option that we've noticed. One of the most common is probably having the time off in lieu option set at 0, and then when the user actually requests the time that they've worked overtime, they would the admin would go into the actual leave, change the quota for that user and put in the quota for the amount of time worked, whether it's half a day, whether it's 2 days that they've worked overtime, and then update that. And basically their bank for toil, aka comp time, would be 2 days, and then the users would be able to see, and be able to use that and request that specific leave type for that time overworked. That's one option. The other option that we've seen being used is where users or where admins have created again a different leave type, 12 comp time, time off in lieu, and have allowed the users to go into a negative balance and request it every time they worked overtime, and then the admins take a look at the number of days, and then they add it to the PTO or to other leave types, and they add that quota based on how much they have in the other bucket. So as much as this has worked for companies, we of course want to automate as much as we can of the system. The whole point of vacation tracker is to automate you guys' leave tracking, and to make things easier for you guys and make it more efficient. So basically,
Exactly.
yeah. So basically, what we're doing is we're introducing an option where the user will have, besides request a leave, they're gonna have another option that basically says add comp time or add time off in lieu or overtime worked. Again, we're figuring out the wording as we speak, and they're gonna have an option, but the request is gonna look almost exactly the same as the request leave, and they're gonna be able to choose which leave type they would like to add this to. They're gonna have the dates that they worked overtime or the date if it's a half day or a few hours, and they'll even be able to write up in the box a reasons to why they worked overtime, or if there's any other information that you'll require as an admin. And when they request this, the approvers will receive that information and be able to approve that, and then that quota will be added to the quota of the leave type that they've requested for. And ideally, I mean, this is something that we've already talked to a lot of companies that requested this feature. Everyone loved the idea of automating it this way because the users have full control of the actual request, and the approvers have full control, of course, of approving the leave information. And then, of course, HR and accounting is very happy because they don't have to manually do anything, any recalculation, but everything is added into the system itself. So this is probably, again, one of the most frequently asked features. And again, we completely understand a lot of companies use it. The next feature that we have is the seniority-based earning, which I believe that's how we're going to be naming it. Again, maybe some changes. The funny thing is with seniority-based earning that we're thinking of the name. Companies don't really have a name for it, so it's not something where
We're
we can kind of.
still we're still open to
Yeah.
suggestions on that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
exactly. Companies don't really have a name for it, but I'll explain what it is, and you guys will probably understand. So basically, depending on how long I've worked in the company, I may get additional quota on top of the amount worked. So maybe if I worked in the company for 5 years and I started off with 10 days, I'm going to get another five days for my 5-year anniversary, and I'm going to have 15 days, and so on and so forth. And maybe there's a limit, maybe there isn't a limit to how much I can earn. And this is definitely something that, again, we've seen more common, more of a common request more and more. And we completely understand it because right now what admins are doing is they're manually editing the quota for these anniversaries. What we're going to be focusing on really is allowing this automation to do this for you. And so again, quite a bit of HR and accounting that's going to be happy with this change. When it comes on the seniority-based earning, we do have feedback. If anyone on the call is interested in the feature and has the same workflow, we do already have some feedback saying, "Hey, listen, it has to be prorated if we're an accounting based, if we're based on accounting year, January 1st, December 31st, or whatever the accounting year is." The amount has to be prorated when they receive that amount. So I don't receive the full 5 days on my anniversary date. I receive whatever the prorated amount is for that year, and then the following year I have the full amount. So this is something definitely that was really great feedback from the companies because it completely makes sense and wouldn't have maybe been something we thought of. So this is something we're definitely going to be applying. And again, if you have any other feedback as well, definitely let us know. It means a lot, especially while we're creating these features, to make sure to make any changes or customizations on time. Finally, we have the blackout period, also a really highly requested feature. Over time, basically, it means that you can block out the calendar for any requests to be sent out because it may be peak season in the company, and there may be a reason why no one can request leave. You can currently use a workaround that the companies are using inside of Vacation Tracker with the holidays, but we decided to make it kind of an official feature because with the holidays, you aren't going to have the options, or with the workaround, you're not going to have the option that you're going to have with the blackout period. That additional option is the fact that users will be able to push out their requests even if they're requesting throughout the blackout period, which again is very logical. It can happen maybe sick leave or something like that, they must request a leave. So they're able to push out, they're going to get a warning that this blackout period, do you still want to send this out? And then they can press the button to say, okay, still push out the request over to the approvers, and then everything goes as follows. So this is definitely something that, again, highly requested, maybe a simpler feature out of all the three, but something that we're also introducing until the end of the year. And this is basically the three features that we have. We're going to be introducing a few improvements here and there. If you have some ideas for some smaller improvements or some other features, definitely still let us know, even though this call is about the current and upcoming features and you may have questions and comments about that. Definitely, write in the Q&A section if you have some sort of other ideas or if you have some sort of other questions regarding the other features. I do want to additionally mention, when it comes down to the three features that I've just mentioned right now, they're not going to be part of the core plan. So that is something to really kind of keep in mind for any core plan users as well that may be interested in these features. So I believe that that's basically it on my end with the explanation of all of these. The survey link that we sent, I'm gonna resend it again. We're gonna send again so that you guys are able to go to it after the call. You're gonna receive it via email as well with the recording. But if you have any additional information you want to add, please add it in. Both the CTO and I will be going through those survey answers in detail. It means a lot to us. So now we're gonna go to the Q&A section. In the meantime, Khushi, do we have all the polls turned on for anyone who wants to
Can
answer?
I activate the last one
Thank
for
you.
now that
Yeah.
we've gone over all of them? But yeah, all polls are active. So again, this is a reminder to just kind of head over to the poll section and let us know your thoughts. And I'm gonna go over the Q&A sections while Kat takes some much needed sip of her detox tea. So the first question is from Shauna. She asks, if I currently have a leave policy that allows days to be carried forward, but want to change that for the 2024 year, do I disable the carry forward before the end of 2023 or after the year turns to 2024?
If you're trying to change it for 2024, it'd be best to do it at the end of 2023. It's going to be affecting the future. If you just Sean, it would be great if you can send us a message, especially when it comes down to the carry forward and the changes for the following year. Do me please a favor and just send us a message via chat regarding the change, to let us know why you guys are making the change, and also so we can maybe it would be a good idea for us to be aware that you're going to make that change at the end of the year. Maybe it would even be better if you message us via chat when you want to make the change at the end of the year, so we can make sure that everything is going to look great once you do it, so that someone from support can just follow the change that'll happen. I always, whenever anyone's making any changes to these types of settings, whether it's brought forward, accounting years, settings to leave policies that can change the calculation in the system itself, I always advise you guys to just send us a quick message, admins, send us a quick message via chat, and just basically say, hey, I want to make this change. Just want to make sure that maybe to be just for us to let you know at least what's going to happen, how it's going to work, or at least for us to watch over whatever happens, right? So that we can make sure that the correct event is happening once you make that change.
Perfect. And the next question is from Laura. She asks, can you use both allow negative balance and allow requesting accrual-based leave in advance at the same time?
Yeah, yes, you can. Yes, you can. The only thing is that, I have to be honest, in that case, the negative balance is going to kind of override the requesting accrual based leave, because allow negative balance is going to allow them to request past the quota and past everything. So you really won't need both. Um, you can just use the allow negative balance in that case and just kind of watch over. The difference between the two will be that you're not going to have that that recalculation, that limit, and so if you already don't care about the limit, then the allow negative balance may just be a better option for you guys. It wouldn't make sense to use both, just because allow negative balance allows them to go even over the main quota that they have. So I would just say um, go ahead with just allow negative balance and not the rest.
Perfect. I guess that wraps it up. Kat, I think you were pretty concise with the way you explained things, and we don't really have a lot of questions. So
Thank you
props
guys.
to
We did
you.
this. We did this 2 times in a row. So I may have answered a bunch of questions that maybe people would have had, but we had them in the previous call.
Get a lot more
Yeah,
last
yeah,
time.
that was and I was
Always
I,
comes in.
luckily I remembered them even though I went on a short vacation between these 2 calls. So I'm very
Look
proud of
at you.
myself.
I think it's just ingrained in your brain at this point.
It is vacation
You wake
trackers.
up and you're like,
Yeah.
accruals.
Yeah. Vacation tracker is engraved in my brain at this point. But if there's if there's any other questions, of course, we'll give you guys a couple of more minutes. The survey will probably be quite useful if you have any other feedback. If there's any other features that you have questions about, this is also a good time to ask. We do have a little bit more time. We usually leave quite a bit of time for these calls because a lot of the times we have quite a bit of questions. This time we divided this call into 2. So first of all, we spread out the amount of people that are going to be joining, and second of all, I also probably answered a bunch of questions that people already had. So it's a little bit different. So if there's anything else you guys have questions about, feel free to ask. If you want to discuss something in more detail, feel free to reach out to us via chat and via email. You guys already know that you can definitely do that. We'll be more happy to talk about that. And again, the survey that we sent out as a link, I'll actually send it out again here in the Q&A section. The link, you're going to receive it via email along with the recording. But feel free to fill it out and to give us your feedback regarding these features, and feel free to fill out the polls as well here that we have, so that you're able to give us some feedback about these features. And again, this means a lot. You guys joining the office hours really means a lot. We love doing these office hours, first of all, because we hear from you. Second of all, we can talk to you in more depth, and we get some feedback regarding direction that we should go into. So thank you guys so much for joining. We'll give a couple of more minutes just in case anyone has anything else.
Cute little heart reaction. That just made my day. Thank
Thank
you to
you.
whoever that
Thank
was.
you. Thank you. We're going to turn off the cameras. We'll turn off the mic. If there's anything in
Yep.
kind of in last minute in the Q&A, we'll answer. If there's any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. We hope you enjoyed the call, and we hope you guys are going to be joining us in the next office hours. So thank you so much.
Guys, we'll see you at the next one.